Everyone, the iPhone 11 honestly is in a very interesting spot. So on one hand, the battery life hasn't really been that great. I talked about that in a different video, and as most of you can see right now with my battery life right here, 3%, it's really not doing too well. But one interesting thing about my iPhone 11 was that the performance of this iPhone right now on iOS 16 is much, much better than expected. So for some of you out there, you may have seen some of the speed comparisons I've been doing on my iPhone 11 and some other iPhones. And one thing that I've been seeing, at least in terms of the performance segment, is that this iPhone is doing a much better job than expected. Now, for a lot of these tasks that are Wi-Fi dependent, like that App Store, it's really not going to look too good. But from a majority of the not only performance side of things, but also RAM management, I've been noticing that on iOS 16 specifically, this iPhone in the performance segment in all areas is actually doing a much better job than expected. Now, this is a double-edged sword because on one hand, iOS 16 took a drastic hit on a lot of battery lives on a lot of my iPhones for with IPS panels, which is very interesting. But for a majority of the performance tasks that I've been doing on the iPhone 11 and on all my other iPhones for the most part, but specifically with the 11, this has been a really good performing phone on this version of software. So I find it very strange that on one hand, the iPhone 11 on the battery life segment really wasn't doing so hot. It was in a weird situation for the most part, but right now from the performance side, it's actually doing a much better job than expected. So this leads me into thinking of possibly one thing with this iPhone. Possibly with iOS 16, the battery life may have taken a hit for the performance to increase, but that makes me beg the question, would I be okay with the opposite, with the performance going down but the battery life increasing? And to be honest, I think there's a middle ground here. I don't think Apple has to go ahead and decrease the battery life this much to get this type of performance, but we do have to understand that this is the first beta. And honestly, for a first beta, it's been pretty decent. It really hasn't been that bad, but a big thing to keep in mind with iOS 16 is that the iPhone 11 ended up getting a majority of the features within iOS 16, meaning that if you wanted to go ahead and utilize the live text feature within the camera app, if you wanted to use all those Siri improvements right here, if you wanted to type with dictation on, you have a lot of those type of capabilities for the most part with this iPhone. So you mix sure that in with the performance side, you mix sure that in with all these other things with the possible better performance, better RAM management, faster performance overall. I think you're going to be getting a really solid iPhone on iOS 16. I don't think it's going to be the best version of software this thing's gotten, but I think for the time being, this is actually a pretty good starting point for the future of the iPhone 11. For it to have gotten a majority of the features within iOS 16, that makes me pretty happy. I'll be curious to see what happens with the future of this iPhone, but I think there's some good news with iOS 16 with the iPhone 11. So that kind of covers it up. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.